Well, hello there, brothers and sisters. This is Jaime Gomez talking about our journey to bring Lujack and the Angel to life. It's been quite an adventure. We've been funded. We haven't been funded. We've found a distributor who wasn't a distributor, who then came back and said he was a distributor. And I've met probably hundreds of people claiming that they could get the movie financed. So just wanted to talk a little bit about the journey and what we've gone through. I think the most important thing through this whole journey is my absolute belief in the project and what we're trying to do. I've been dealing with the city of San Francisco. They've been absolutely amazing. They've welcomed us with open arms. And when I say us, I mean me and the people that I'm talking about bringing on. As far as the production, they've offered city rebates. We're going to be applying for the California $1 million rebate, tax rebate. So there's a lot of great energy that's happening. There's some promises that have been made for the next couple of months. So we'll see where that goes, and I'm kind of doing this to talk about, as I said, the process, but to talk about the journey and what it's been like trying to get to this place. The whole story started when I was working in San Francisco doing the Nash Bridges show. There was a place down in the Tenderloin called the Blue Lamp. It was a blues bar. And the beginning action of the movie kind of takes place in this bar where he's first introduced to the character Angel. Maybe I'll tell you a little bit about the story. The story's about a cop who was an absolute golden boy, and he loses everything because of interdepartmental politics, and he ends up getting set up. He gets the worst job that you can possibly get, which is dealing with the worst of society. He's miserable. His ideas of justice and truth and honesty and doing the right thing kind of fall by the wayside, and he's devastated. And then he finds redemption in the most unlikely source. The tagline is, she stole his wallet, then she stole his heart, and he's going to find her or die trying. So that's kind of the love story aspect, and he finds redemption in the most unlikely source, and that's in this streetwalker named Angel. So what happened is I would go to this place. I was staying at the what's the name of not the St. Francis, the Sir Francis Drake, beautiful hotel in San Francisco. That's where I was staying to shoot the pilot episode, and I'd walk down, I believe it's Post. I think it was on Post. No, maybe Sutter. I don't know. I have to look at the map. But there was this great little blues bar, and it was full of characters. There was a great guy that I knew there named Cadillac Jones. He was an old black man dressed head to toe in orange with an orange guitar, and man, that dude could play. And he would tell me a story. He'd say, if I bought you a drink, if you bought me a drink and you set it right there on the bar, I wouldn't drink it. I said, okay. I get this man a whiskey. He says he's not going to drink it. So I'd set the whiskey down, and we'd be talking, and then I just didn't notice the whiskey would be gone. And he'd turn to me and say, if you bought me another whiskey, I wouldn't drink it. So I said, all right. So we always played this game. Don't know why. Have no idea where any of that came from. But it was just kind of a fact. But this was a smoky little blues bar, as I said. Back in those days, you could smoke a cigarette just by walking into a bar. But it was an amazing place, and I got to be friends with the owners, and they were both musicians, and guys from Nash Bridges, the crew, would come down there, and like I said, it was a little hole in the wall. But every time I'd walk back to my hotel, that was the time when the street was just was full of streetwalkers, and I would see these girls, And I would talk to him and say hi, and I was doing my own thing. It wasn't anything I was into. But there was one girl in particular, this redheaded girl, tall girl, bruises on her legs and sequin skirt, and just a sadness in her eyes. And I'd see her all the time, and she'd bum a cigarette off me or whatever, back in the days when I smoked. And it just really stuck with me. It was something that was heartbreaking, and that idea of the story kind of came from her. But at the time, I was also doing training with the SFPD with Paul Lazada, who became a great friend, and we worked together again. He, was instrumental in helping me get the job for training day. Really, really good guy. Love that guy. And it was this idea of a cop who is all about justice, about doing the right thing. But also these guys, these undercover guys, are very much about community and taking care of people and wanting to help people, and coming down on Thanksgiving in the worst neighborhoods and bringing turkeys and bringing, toys for the kids and bicycles and tricycles. And it was just so touching. It was an amazing time. So that story of the girl and of the cops and everything that I learned, and all the weapons training and all this stuff and all the shootouts and all the blow 'em ups, and we had streetwalker characters on Ash Bridges, very colorful ones, and that story never left me. Well, months later, I saw that girl, and she was pregnant, and I was like, just brought tears to my eyes. I just couldn't even imagine. I couldn't even imagine just that reality. At that time, my daughter was almost 2. So I was living through, being a first-time dad. And again, it struck me, and then I never saw her again. And then years later, well, last year, as a matter of fact, something flashed in my mind, and I thought of the blue lamp again, and all these stories came flooding back to me. And then I thought of this character, Lujack Sweet. That's the name of the San Francisco inspector, and he's kind of he's kind of an amalgamation of Sam Spade and Rick Blaine from Casablanca. He's Dirty Harry. He's a little bit of John Wick, all rolled into one, and he's a guy who essentially has lost everything. And it was kind of the zeitgeist, the feeling of America, people feeling really disenfranchised and feeling that there's no hope, and living in a place where San Francisco doesn't feel the way it used to be. LA doesn't feel the way it used to be. We're experiencing this real upheaval and change in our country, and I think everybody feels it. Excuse me. And that's what Lujack Sweet feels, and he feels he has nothing to live for. And then he meets this girl, and she can't help herself because she ends up stealing from him when he opens up his heart for a little crack of kindness and human companionship, because he's lost his wife. He doesn't see his son. He has no relationship with him, and he's suffering from a terminal disease, and he feels his life is over. And something in this girl, in her spirit, in her wit, in her laughter, the way she scrunches her nose when she smiles, it shows a glimmer of life, and of this young person that has their whole life ahead of him, and ahead of her. And when she disappears, he feels that sense of loss, and he goes after her, And then when he finds her again, she happens to be pregnant. And then that's where the story kind of takes off from there, and what happens in their relationship, in the things that they're fighting for. So it's definitely a San Francisco story, but I think it's an American story, and I think it's a story that people can relate to because it is action, but it's also a love story. And those are the stories that really have always attracted me, because that's what it's all about, right? It's about finding a little bit of love. Well, thank you very much for watching, and I'll be posting more stuff about the story and about the movie and about acting stuff and memories of San Francisco, and hopefully you'll join us. Press subscribe, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Talk to you soon. Peace.